Good morning, everybody. Hi, it's Carol. How are you doing? Happy Father's Day to anybody who's a father out there, father figure, father to a fur baby. Happy Father's Day. I want to give a shout out to somebody. Her name is Vicky. Her channel name is Living in the Moment. When I do a search, I have a hard time finding it to come up because a lot of other stuff comes up first. So I'm going to try to cut and paste it in the description. I have the directions. I've tried that a bunch of times. It doesn't work for me, but I'll give it a shot. Anyway, Vicky has 909 subs. Maybe we could get her to 1,000 so she could be monetized. She's retired on a limited income. She has 2 little dogs, a dachshund named Jade, and another little dog. I think he's maybe a Chihuahua. I think her name is Ginger. But anyway, her dachshund is Jade. She does cooking a lot. She does hauls. She does telling stories. She really likes Hello Kitty items. Let's just see if we can get her over 1,000. It's really fun when you go over 1,000 and you get monetized. And there's a thing creators can go to called My Studio, and you can see daily how it's adding up. That's fun. And I thank you guys for getting me monetized because you watch. You're the one that's paying me. Anyway, living in the moment. I'll try to cut and paste it in the description. Now, I have always told you, this is not a cooking channel. I'm not a cook. Yesterday, my daughter Casey, that's often on the videos with me, came home. She had gone to New Mexico camping in the mountains with her dad and her stepmom and an aunt and an uncle and 2 cousins and all their dogs. She had a wonderful time. She just had a really good time. It was a lot cooler in the mountains than it is down here, let me tell you. And she just had a good visit with them. But anyway, she was going to get home right at dinner time on Saturday. So I was going to cook her a nice dinner. I was going to make French bread. I was going to make zucchini lasagna. And I was going to make this chocolate cake that for years, a lot of years, 50 probably, I've been making that cake. It's called Texas sheet cake. It's so good. Anyway, I found a small batch recipe. So I was going to make her that cake. The lasagna is a small batch recipe. The French bread was a small batch recipe. You know me in the kitchen. First, I made the French bread. Oh man, it rose beautifully. The recipe said to knead it for 5 minutes. I think that was a little much, but I don't know. I never added any extra flour except a dusting on the baking sheet. Didn't add extra flour. And I measured flour the correct way. I don't know if you know this, but because I just learned it like a month ago. When you're measuring out flour, you don't dip your cup into your flour container. You take a spoon or another smaller cup and pour it in your measuring cup, because if you dip it down in there, you're going to get it too packed and it'll be more flour than the recipe calls for. So you pour your flour into your measuring cup and then level it off with a knife. I did that. Man, I was so tickled. I was so excited because this bread looked wonderful. I did the 3 scores on the top like you're supposed to. It looked so pretty. Baked it. And I don't know, it was something with the recipe, I think, but also my stove. This stove in this apartment isn't really the best. Anyway, but I'm grateful to have it. It was supposed to cook, I think, 18 to 20 minutes. We couldn't get it to brown on the top. I think I cooked it more like 40 minutes, and it's still, the top was as white as when I put it in there. Finally, I just took it out, and it came right out of the pan so nice. I mean, everything was a go so far. Casey, when I dumped it out of the pan onto the cooling rack, you know, of course it was upside down, so Casey was here by then, and she went to turn it over so we could cut it, and she said, "Did the recipe say this was supposed to be heavy as a rock?" Well, the French bread we buy at Walmart is not heavy. This was my first attempt to making French bread. But she cut through it not easily. That bread was so dense. All I can say is this was very dense bread. The outside was crusty, even if it didn't get golden brown. The inside was soft, but it was very heavy and dense, and I don't know why. So I'm not going to show you that recipe. I'll find another one and give it another shot till I find a good French bread recipe. And then I made the zucchini lasagna. That was good. Now, it's not as good as that recipe I gave you a couple of weeks ago for lasagna that made a 9x13 sheet pan. It wasn't as good as that, but pretty close. I mean, it was really good. First of all, it said this was lasagna for one or for two people if you have a salad and a side or something. I can't imagine one person eating that recipe in one sitting for sure. Casey and I halved it. I made it in a loaf pan. We halved it, and it was so good. And by that time, we were starving. I hadn't eaten anything but chips and queso all day, and I was starving. We halved that little loaf of zucchini lasagna, and we both ate our halves, which was, oh, too much. I really think that could have easily served 3 people, but it said a recipe for one. But it was good. I'm going to put that in here. I'm going to put the recipe in the description. Someday I'll film that again. I don't know what I do sometimes. You know, I've always filmed on my cell phone, on this cell phone. The other day I filmed something the correct way. I always hold it where the button where you turn the video on is near my left hand. Always do it that way. The other day I filmed something, and part of it came up vertical instead of horizontal. But when I look in my gallery on my phone to look at the pictures, they're all horizontal. I did this zucchini recipe, same way. Held it the same end, pointed it, horizontal. 3/4 of it came up vertical. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm not a photographer either. Not a cook, not a photographer. But anyway, that recipe was good. Now, I'm going to put the sloppy video in here where it's mostly vertical, just because. But someday I'll refilm that and delete this whole video. But anyway, the lasagna was really good. It was such a smaller recipe than the lasagna recipe I usually use. I was really concerned because the only liquid you put in there in the meat mixture was a 1/2 cup of tomato sauce. And then at the very last, you were supposed to put the put a fourth of a cup on top. Well, that left me with 2 ounces. I just put it all in there. But, because I didn't want to have 2 ounces of tomato paste, tomato sauce to freeze or something. Anyway, there wasn't too much tomato sauce in it when it was baked, but the water cooked out of that zucchini, and there was liquid in the bottom. Not a whole lot, but surprisingly, there was some water in the bottom of the recipe. But other than that, it was really, really good. It was from a website called, I don't know. I'll put it up here somewhere when I look. I want to give the lady credit. But anyway, we really enjoyed that zucchini lasagna. It was good. And then I was going to make this small batch Texas sheet cake. We were so stuffed after we ate that lasagna that, and we were tired. She didn't get in till, in the evening, and we were exhausted. So I'm going to make that this morning, and I will film that, and I hope it films horizontal. That's all I can say. If you've never made Texas sheet cake, oh my gosh, it is so good. It's like 4 times better than that other small batch cake I did. Although that one was good too. But this one's really good. What else is going on? Not much. You know how attached I am to my grandkids. I have had those kids a minimum of 4 days every week their entire life. They like to spend the night with me. They often spend 1 night, sometimes 2 nights, sometimes 3 nights a week. Grandma has a slumber party, and Casey has a slumber party, and we have a good time with them. Well, they went to visit their other grandma in a different town last weekend. And I was expecting them to only stay 1 week, but now they're staying another week. So I've got another week without grandkids. But I mean, I'm glad they get to see their other grandma, and I'm thrilled for her because she doesn't get to see them that often. But we had some things planned for next week, and they're not going to be with their daddy on Father's Day, but he said that's okay. Anyway, I'm just having a pity party because the grandkids aren't going to be here this week. We really miss them, Casey and I. But that gives me another week to do what things I need to do. So I'm going to line my kitchen shelf. Months ago, I bought that shelf liner paper and have never done it. So I'm going to get my shelves lined and go through every room and clean out, see what else I can get rid of. I really want to be a minimalist. I don't want to have extra things. My daughter Becky hates for me to mention it, but I read that book, The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. I think that's the name of it, where it's an act of kindness when you're older. It's an act of kindness to your family to go through your things and get rid of stuff you don't need. So when you pass, they don't have a mountain of stuff. I firmly believe that. And nobody wants to clean out, go through a house full of clutter or anything when the time comes. But anyway, so I'm always going through and saying, I haven't used this in 3 months. I obviously don't need it. I have way too many Christmas decorations. There's just things I can continue to clean out. So I'll do that next week. And I'm sorry, I feel like I have a throat full of sand. I get that sensation every now and then. It just feels like my throat is full of sand. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to Vicki, living in the moment. I want to tell you the lasagna was good. I'm not even going to show you the bread. It was just too dense. I don't know what I did. Those of you who are really cooks, tell me what I did wrong. I mean, I used the exact amount of flour. I didn't add extra like when I was kneading it. I just dusted the baking sheet. I set a timer, so I was kneading it for 5 minutes. That's a long time. Anyway. Oh, there was one other thing I saw. How long is this? I'll tell you next time. I'm going to post this on Sunday. On Monday, I'll post the Texas sheet cake and tell you about this cool thing I saw. Okay, bye-bye, guys. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Leave me a comment, please, and a thumbs up if you would. Oh, Mom, I told you about Money Mom having that wreck last Sunday. Broke her neck, broke her collarbone, broke her sternum, broke a couple of ribs. Friday of this week, she had the wreck on Sunday, and then the following Friday, she was in the hospital on Monday. I don't know if she got dismissed Monday or Tuesday, but anyway, this next Friday, she was at work doing demos at a grocery store with her neck brace on. And I mean, that woman, she's got things to do. Just stand back and get out of her way. Broken neck's not going to stop her. All right, guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hi, guys. This is Carol. How are you? Actually, this is Saturday. I'm only going to post it on Sunday. I've got my French bread mixed up. Hopefully that's today's video. Hopefully this will be tomorrow. This is zucchini lasagna for 2. So the first step is wash the zucchini and slice it into thin slices. Leave it on your cutting board and lightly salt it. Then you let it sit for 10 minutes. Okay, I've cooked my meat with the garlic and the onions in it. Made a mess. Now I'm going to pour it back in the pan, add a half a cup of tomato sauce, and let it simmer for 3 minutes. I'm used to making that lasagna that I showed you maybe 2 weeks ago that makes enough for a 9x13 pan. This does not look like very much meat, but I'm going to do it exactly as the recipe goes, and hope it turns out okay. I put 3 tablespoons of the meat sauce in the bottom. Now I have a layer of zucchini. And next I'm going to put this on top of the zucchini and then a layer of mozzarella. Okay, I've got this put together and I'm about to put it in the oven. It said to put another layer of noodles and put the 1/4 cup of tomato sauce you have left. And then top with the cheeses. That would leave me 2 ounces of tomato sauce to do something with. I just went ahead and poured it in here. But anyway, it's ready to go in the oven. Alrighty, there it is out of the oven. We're going to let it cool for a little bit and then we'll tell you if it tastes good.